Boom! What's up, everybody? Welcome to Billy Jean's Gene Pool. We are on skill number 4, which means we have been doing this shit for 4 months now. And this month we are focused on how to use Facebook to technically use it, right? Like how to use it to do all of the cool stuff that we talk about. And today we're just going to build a campaign for you guys so you can see it. I thought that would be a really good idea instead of just showing a bunch of slides is to just go in there and show you what we do to build one out in less than an hour. And kind of show you guys what that looks like. So I brought a special guest on the mic with me, aka Jordan Peterson, aka Twinkie. Say what's up.
Hello.
Hold on a second. So that's Jordan. Jordan, how long you been here now?
April was my year mark, so,
so
a little bit over a year.
Over a year, and I can't count how many accounts she's probably worked on or how much money she's managed. But nonetheless, she's done a lot of stuff. Yeah, she's going to be with us today to kind of share her screen, and we're going to just walk through the campaign build. Kyle says, hey, I saw you guys watching The Bachelorette last night. What'd you think of it? Kyle, obviously, I don't know, my Snapchat got hacked or something like that. I'm not going to sit here and say I was watching The Bachelorette. But if I happen to be in a room when it was on, I think that they're going to break up within 3 months. You know what I mean? And again, I don't watch anything like that, but if I had to guess, you know what I mean? So just saying. Arlene, hiya. What's up? Al asks, when going after the real estate niche, is it okay if they're in the same areas, or when someone signs with you, then you target in another area? Well, Al, I'll ask you this. If you were a real estate agent and your marketing company brought on somebody else who's targeting the same zip codes as you, how would you feel? So I keep it in short of treat others how you want to be treated. You know what I mean? And if you can come up with some kind of, system or process where, the leads are being split, or, this one already has too much business, so they're not worried about it, then that's a conversation you have between, the three of them. But honestly, there's so much opportunity in here. There's no benefit of going after people in the same area because there's just too much money, to be real with you. I wouldn't even waste time with it. The golden rule of anything, just treat people how you want to be treated, right? All right, got a lot to cover today, so I think I want to jump on. Hi to all you new people who are here, and shout out to all you people who've been rocking with us for the last year and a half. How many of you in here right now have been on webinars with me for the last 2 years? Give or take, somewhere between a year and a half, 2 years. A couple. Big shout out to you. Thank you for being here. All right, cool. Let's get into this. So today, going over Facebook. All right. So George says he's brand new. Excited. What's up, man? George, even if you're new, did you have a chance to go back and look at skill number or lesson 1 in this skill, meaning last week's training? Actually, type yes in the chat right now. How many of you saw last week's training in regards to Facebook? And if you didn't, go back and watch it before you do this, right? They all build off of each other, as you guys know. So make sure you get in there. Okay, cool. Sean Mike, what's up, man? All right, so this is a little different than I usually teach today. I usually always like to entertain and have fun, but I'll be honest, building out campaigns is kind of boring as shit sometimes. So I'm gonna do my best to keep you engaged, but the reality of it is this is extremely important. So if you care about your business and making money and providing for your family and I don't know, building wealth, then you should probably pay attention, right? So let's get into it. And again, what the objective of this call is to do is to literally share our screens with you and show you from top to bottom how we build a damn campaign and just go through the process. You know what I mean? So if you have questions, ask. If you don't ask questions, why are you here, right? And you don't have to force ask a question, but if you're confused on something, just remember you're safe behind a computer. You can't look like a dummy because no one knows who the fuck you are. So just feel free to be yourself and be here to learn and to get better, man. And just let's all have fun today. Cool. Billy Jean Gene Pool, how to build a complete Facebook campaign. Less than an hour. Truth is, may take a little more than an hour, but that sounded good for a title. All right. Follow me on Snapchat, especially if you're new here. Ask Billy Jean. My snaps are super, super mediocre. Sometimes funny. Yesterday I was at the dentist, so literally I had to get 10 injections in my mouth to numb it, and then they had to do this crazy cleaning. It was horrible. It was the worst thing that's ever happened. Ty Jackson, what's up, man? Happy Taco Tuesday. Ty, I feel like we haven't talked in a long time, man. Good to see you. Okay, recap of last week. Title, how to not suck at Facebook advertising. Really important. How Facebook actually works, right? Hashtag CTR. How to use Facebook to find your ideal customers. Stereotyping. You know, I'm a huge believer in stereotyping when it comes to advertising. And then obviously the process of turning clicks into customers, all right? This week's focus, how to actually take all of the information that we gathered last week and put it into Facebook, and technically how to build out a campaign. So we'll go through this together. What you're going to learn today. All right, how to set up the ad account, how to set up the fan page, how to actually build this out within Power Editor, how to set up your ad set, your ads, and your landing pages, and creating an integration in your lead capturing service provider. Those last two things are actually going to be covered next week, but the rest is all true. Continuing on, that's Jordan. Jordan, say what's up.
Hello, that's me. And my dog sits.
Yep, her dog is more near as cool as mine. What picture is this from? Is this Facebook some shit?
No, I don't know. Alex with it.
That's Jordan, everyone. She's sitting behind me right now in the office, and yeah, that is her dog, Fitz. It's definitely no 4, which is my dog, but you know, it is what it is. Really fast, I'll hype Jordan up again, and I talked about it just a second ago. But again, literally has managed probably, I would argue, she's probably managed more campaigns than every single person in here combined, with the exception of me, obviously. But that's to give you an idea how much she's seen this Facebook shit. How many changes, Jordan, would you say Facebook's went through, like design-wise, even within the last year and some change?
I couldn't even count. I mean, definitely over 5, I would say. They changed a lot between Ads Manager, Business Manager, and Power Editor.
Yep, and they changed a lot the way it looks. A lot of the functions are still the same, but they've added a lot of things too. And things that used to work a year ago don't really work that well anymore, and things that come now. Matter of fact, everyone type in the chat right now. How many of you have ran an ad on Facebook and everything was good and then your shit just stopped working or wasn't there? Like for a while, they stopped allowing video advertising. And we were depending a lot on that in our business. That kind of hurt us. Right? Yeah, everyone's doing it, right? So that's why we're in groups like this. Again, if you guys are just out there as solopreneurs and you're not a part of some community and you're just hoping to kind of figure out Facebook, you're fucked. You're going to burn so much money and time. It's just the worst idea ever. So I'm glad you're here, right? I'm glad you're here, and I encourage you to be in, you know, as many as you can and learn as much as you can, right? So before you can start building out Facebook campaigns, you need a fan page and an advertising account, right? So this first part, I am going to go through fast because it's not really that special and nothing that you guys can't figure out. I don't want to bore us with shit that I don't think is, you know, going to be that beneficial to you. Okay? Yeah, Kenneth Collins says, you know, he's been advertising on Facebook since only the right column ads were available. I was also there in that game, and it was completely different than what it is now. But yeah, I remember when the news feed first got introduced, and it completely changed the way Facebook did business. And that's when they, you know, we're starting to go public and all that good stuff too. So yeah, Ken, you know what I'm talking about with the crappy ads. All right, so creating a fan page. We're hitting the basics, and I apologize if you guys are already beyond this. Again, I'm going to skip through it. And actually, better yet, let me do this. Let me gauge the room. How many of you don't even have a fan page or ad account set up yet? I don't think that's going to be very many people in here. If it is, let me know. Because again, I want to customize this content specifically to what this group needs. Type it in. Anyone? Okay, cool. So we have a couple people. Right? So, you know, Tom, I'll give you kind of an overview. To advertise on Facebook, you have to have a fan page, right? If you don't have a fan page, then they don't know who the message is coming from. So that's why we create a fan page. So to do that, you literally you can either Google create a fan page and it'll give you the link right there, or you can follow the steps on the screenshot that I'm showing you right now. So to create the fan page within your business manager, all you're going to do is go to pages and then create a new page. And then once you do that, it'll bring you through the prompts. Are you a local business? Are you a company? Are you a brand? Are you an artist, entertainment? Are you a cause or community? Now, let me point something out to all of you. This is actually really important, so I'm glad I'm doing this. And this is for advanced people too. Really fast, your guys right now, your fan pages, what are you set up as? Are you guys a local business, a company, a public figure? Type in the chat right now what your setup is, or type in if you don't know also too. Cool. Local, company, organization, do not know. Brand, not sure if you're seeing this. I'm seeing this and I'm live and I'm really here. What's up? Personal, public figure, business. Okay. All right. The reason why I'm asking you guys is because it actually matters. So based on what you select will change the recommendations that Facebook gives to you. So let me show you what I mean. When Facebook had a product, and some of you have seen it, some of you aren't. How many of you are familiar with what's called Facebook Beacon? Facebook Beacon. Again, just type if you're familiar with Facebook Beacon. Never heard of it. Okay, a lot of you, some of you have. The reason why is because you have to be a local business to get one. But what it was a beta test where they would send out these beacons. And when I say beacon, it looks like a little disc, like a circle, a little blue circle. But what it allows you to do is you put it in your office, and when someone walks by your office, you can give them an offer, like a special offer to come into your store. Does everybody get that? Does that make sense? Just type yes in the chat if you're with me. Pretty cool, right? So like people can walk by, and if you have this beacon in there, as soon as they come into your organization, they can be prompted to like your page and things like that. Now, a lot of you didn't even know that existed, right? And you wouldn't, depending on how your fan page is set up, because to a band or public figure, they wouldn't have that available. So everybody's seeing where I'm going with this. So even as advanced people, right? You've been in the game forever. A lot of you probably didn't even realize that. So it matters how you classify yourself, and you need to really identify like what is your position here. Now let me give you the flip side of that. How many of you have live stream available on your fan page? How many of you have live stream available on your fan page? And if you don't, you should get it, because I believe live stream is going to take over the world. We're making big investments into that. Some people are saying don't. Some people are saying no. Here's the reality. When live stream first came out, it was only available to public figures. That makes sense? Because public figures are actually people who are talking and they can go live. A company, a local business can't really go live, so they may get a beacon while the other person gets a public figure and they can go live and do live stream. That's why it matters. So take a company like ours where, we have a local business here. Nonetheless, when live stream came out, I wanted to do it super badly because we love to put out content. But I couldn't because we were under local business. So we actually had to switch our organization type. And we couldn't figure out what was wrong for the longest time, and our rep couldn't figure it out. And it was because we were classified under the wrong category. So, yeah, again, So, really fast note to everybody. If you're here right now and you're like, oh, he's just going over Facebook training, this is going to be pretty basic. There we go. I just took something extremely basic, like the type of fan page that we're making, and brought some real value to you. So what I'm saying is pay attention, right? We're never too smart to learn. Yeah, let's continue on. Someone says, how do you switch? I think we put in a request through like the support thing there and just did it. I got to ask Alabama. I think she was the one who actually dealt with it. I do believe it was a little bit of a pain in the ass though. Okay. Joe says, which do we use? Depends on your business, but public figure works for us because of the simple fact of live streaming. I thought that was huge. So I think it worked well. And someone mentioned too that they're, doing it in real estate on like behalf of their team. So one thing that I think is going to happen is companies are going to really start having to actually be human. What I mean by that is nobody buys into Allstate. Nobody buys into Allstate, but they buy into that black guy from who was the president on 24, right? Nobody buys Progressive Insurance, but they buy into Flo, who's like a super popular character. No one buys into Verizon Network, but they buy into the guy that says, can you hear me now, or whatever it is, right? But anyways, they're becoming humans, and brands are starting to recognize that. So my point is if you have like a real estate company or a mortgage, or you're a broker or something like that, forget going with this company name crap. That shit's old school. If you want to survive on social, which by the way is the most important thing in the world to do right now if you want your business to grow, then you need to get on board and make your brand human. Does that make sense with everybody before I continue? Because we got a lot of shit to cover, and that was a big time tangent. Just give me a yeah if you're with me. Rocking and rolling. Helpful so far. Let's get into the good stuff. Yes. Cool. Good. All right. Let's do it. Coming through here. Next. Once you choose your category, then they have you actually put in your address and all that stuff. Now, if you're a local business and all that, make sure you actually fill this out correctly. That's how people are going to find you on the Facebook search, graph search, and all that good stuff. Okay? Then we're continuing on. Once you have your fan page, you tell a little bit about it, put a description. I would keep it pretty short and to the point. Is your business barbershop or real establishment? Just say yes. Are you authorized in the official representation of this brand? Make sure you say yes. These things matter also. If there's somebody comes to you later and tries to knock off your page, make sure you can back it up with like a business license and a billing address like a gas and electric bill, right? So think about it. Imagine you have a local business that's there for 10 years and somebody else makes a fan page in your name and you're not able to provide any kind of proof. Then guess what? You just have a knockoff out there and there's nothing you can do to monitor that, right? So again, these little steps that nobody would ever think of can make a huge difference. And as I'm going through, you just continue to, put out stuff, whatever, and then boom, you have a fan shop. So for this example that we're showing you guys, because we literally just created some shit for this particular call, but Billie Jean has a barber shop. Now, why is everybody swagged out wearing pink and pink? I have no idea. Jordan, you picked that picture, so I don't really know, but nonetheless, that's the barbershop where we're going today. And today what we're going to do is we're going to create an ad from scratch with you guys to show you how we would get traffic to a barbershop. Okay? And what you guys are going to realize is I'm going to try and simplify it for you and just keep it super basic so that you can actually do this. All right? So once a fan page is created, you have to have an ad account. Now, a lot of you are doing this wrong. How many of you are currently using Business Manager? How many of you are using Business Manager? Cool, a lot of you are. If you're not, make the switch today. Because if you're not using Business Manager, then you can't advertise for multiple companies, or at least without getting in trouble by Facebook, okay? And it makes, this whole workflow 10 times easier. All right, so when you're in the Business Manager, and literally to create it, Google Facebook Business Manager, there's a link right there. Follow the steps. It'll take you about 2 minutes. Nothing crazy, right? So go ahead, use Business Manager, and then from there, we are going to add a new ad account. And all we do is just in the top right, click the giant button that says Add New Ad Account. So take notes of this, people, and I'll simplify it. As a marketing company, we deal with hundreds and hundreds of clients. For each client that we have, they have a different advertising account. Why? Because obviously the advertisements we run for Billie Jean's barbershop are not going to be the same for Billie Jean's marketing, which aren't going to be the same for all the other franchises that we work with. So it allows you to create everybody's ads within their own folder. I'm just simplifying here so you guys are with me. Everybody clear? I'm going to do a lot of heat checks like this. Everybody clear with me and adding an ad account? Just type with me. If you don't answer, I'll just sit here and stare at the screen. Okay. So once you have that, we type it in. Always name the ad account the company name. That way there's no confusion, right? There's no confusion. Just type in Billie Jean's Barbershop, which is what we're creating right now. And then they'll also at this time, and this is important, make sure everybody's noting this, they'll also ask you to put a payment method, meaning when we're running your advertisements, who's getting billed? So if you have multiple companies with multiple cars and you don't want to be the one fronting the bill for everything, this is why creating a separate ad account is everything. So Teresa, when you have multiple clients, right, they all have their own ad accounts and they all have their own credit cards on file. So that way they're dealing with that. So what's cool is when you're using the Business Manager is Facebook will save that card information to that account. Good? 2 thumbs up? All right. Continuing on. Next thing you can do, and this is not mandatory, but for larger organizations, right, is you can add people who you want to manage that account. Okay? So take something like ours. I may give Jordan access to one of the companies we work with because she may be the lead on that company. However, I may not give it to, Ray or something because she has nothing to do with that, right? So you can actually choose who's assigned to what, which is really, really helpful. And if you have a really big organization, if you ever have to let people go or anything like that, you can literally click here, check their name, and just hit remove, and they're gone from every single account within 7 seconds. Okay? So even if for you guys who are working with like 1 or 2 people that are assisting you, it's nice to be able to do this. Okay? Sean says, Facebook's only allowing me 2 ad accounts. How do I up my limit? You ask them, Sean. There's no way around it. You literally just message them and say, can I have more accounts? And you may have to ask several times. And sometimes they'll do it right away. Sometimes it'll take longer. So just stay on top of them and continue asking them. That's how you get it done. Okay? Now continuing on. now that we got the basics, now we're actually going to jump into campaign creation. So does anybody have any questions before I continue about like a fan page or ad account? Fan page or ad account, any questions? Right. Matt, ask us that question at the end once we dive into Power Editor, and you'll be able to see it a lot easier. Okay. Continuing. Going once. Someone says hold. I'll kind of continue, but I'll keep that in mind. Is the ad manager the same as the business manager? No, it's not. No, it's not. The biz manager has multiple ad accounts within it. The ads manager is just referring to one ad account, yours. So your ad account will be within the business manager. Yeah, you need to make the switch, right? And you'll still have your ad account, but you'll have to access the business manager to get to it. You know? Cool. So why, see, that's a question for afterwards. I don't want to confuse everyone because that's not relative right now. All right. Okay. So Facebook advertising simplified. So last week when I was going through this, I told you guys like the easiest way to create advertising accounts, and that was to keep it simple, is number one is to figure out the objective. Are you trying to get the phones to ring? Are you trying to sell something physical? Are you trying to get people in your store, right? Step two is find out who the hell you're talking to. Is it a black person, a white person, a Mexican person, a colored person? Is it a Donald Trump? I mean, is it like fucking stereotype? Who are you really trying to get in front of? What bars do they hang out with? You know? And then step three, make them an offer they actually care about. That's what Facebook advertising is. My favorite question that I get from people is this. Okay, Billy, I know you guys have worked in all these different industries, but does it work for mine? And my favorite response is, well, does your business sell to humans? Does my business sell to humans? Of course it does. Okay, then. Because there's 1.5 billion people, humans, on Facebook. So what do you mean, does it work? Facebook is nothing more than a platform to get your message in front of people. Can everyone vibe with me on that? Like, there's no magic on Facebook. It's just where people are hanging out. It's just where they're at. So does Facebook work? It's not even a real question at all. It's just a method to get in front of people. It's the new billboard. Do billboards work? Sometimes, right? Like, so anyways, just everyone keep that on top of mind, okay? Continuing on. Next thing is we're identifying our objective for this campaign, okay? And in this campaign is this fake barbershop that we made up, Billy's Barbershop. Our objective is to get more butts and seats to my brand new barbershop, okay? And then from there, we got to find the people who I actually want in my barbershop. So what's their gender? Is it male or females? Well, you guys tell me. For a barbershop, is it typically guys or girls? And if you were here last week, you remember me saying something very specific. The person we're looking for is the person most likely to buy your product or service. So a couple people are typing like, well, girls can go to barbershops too. Of course they can. But are we really going to use our entire advertising budget trying to find a needle in a haystack, or go to the lowest hanging fruit to fill up our seats, right? So obviously barbershop, it's mostly guys. In this case, I think we did like 21 to 35 or some shit. I don't know. And the income, I think, was like 40 grand to 60 grand. You know, where do they live? We go through all that. Where do they hang out? What are their interests? What TV shows do they watch? So we actually filled this out, okay? So we said, all right, where do they live within a barbershop? Around 5 miles. Men, for the men in here today, raise your, or type in the chat if you drive further than 5 miles or if your barber is within 5 miles, right? And what we found for most local businesses is most of the time it's pretty close. However, it really needs to be, you have to evaluate the city. In San Diego, driving is very common. A lot of people have a car. That's where we're at. In New York, people are walking or taking a taxi, and the idea of going 5 miles, or like in San Francisco, is insane, right? So again, you really have to evaluate the, you know, the geographic activity. I don't even know if that made sense, but whatever. All right, and then what do they look like, right? In this case, in this barbershop, for the sake of stereotyping they're black and brown. Let's just say that's what it is, right? Like, I want like kind of a hip, you know, little trendy barbershop, right? Where do they hang out? I put Bootlegger and Waterfront. So what is that? Those are just 2 local bars / like little hangouts that you can go to within the area. But people who are coming to this barbershop, this is where they would go, right? So those are actually real places within San Diego. What kind of music do they listen to? Maybe some Drake, maybe some EDM, right? What TV shows do they watch? Power, maybe that show Ballers, maybe that show Billions, maybe that show Vice Principals. And again, you guys are like, why is he talking about music? Why is he talking about TV shows? Because this is how you find people. This is how you find your ideal customer, right? For customers that you really love, when you have a conversation with them, it should be like you're talking to your best friend because you guys have so much in freaking common. Does that make sense? Oh, you like them too? Oh, you hang out there? Oh, you know so-and-so? You guys ever notice that with really successful businesses, everyone's kind of the same? All right, any questions about this? Because now we're going to switch over to screen share and like going into all this and using this information to find people. So just type, yes, I'm good, or no, I got a question, Billy. Billy, you're whack. Adrian asked, so are the interest and hangouts guesses? No, they're not guesses. I mean, okay, put it this way. I guess, yes, no, I take that back. No, they're not guesses, because what you should be doing is when a customer comes into your business is asking them these questions or stalking them on Facebook, and you can see where they check in. How about that? Super simple, right? Look at your customers, find them on Facebook, and look at where they check in. Majority of the time when people really like somewhere, they will check in and let everybody in the world know they're there. So Adrian, they're not guesses. Use data. Brian says, can one find enough audience? Love the targeting down. Here's a huge question. Okay, and I get this a lot. It's like, Billy, well, if I'm super specific, will I still have enough customers? And the answer is, it depends, right? So take a barber shop. And I don't know how many of you have ever dabbled in the space, but let's just play a game here. How many customers do you guys think a barber can handle on one day? How many customers can a barber handle on one day? Like really, like comfortably, right? Someone said 30, someone said 20, 15, 16. I don't really know, but let's say it takes 30 minutes, right? And they're working 8 hours. And that's 2 every 8 hours or whatever. I don't know, that's like 16, right? But then there's breaks and lunch in between. Let's just say 15. All right, I think that's just actually let's just say 10 for easy math, okay? Well, if someone's business to be really busy, and let's say they're working 5 days a week, that's 50 customers they can handle in total. Now, our barbershop people come every other week a lot of the times. So literally 100 customers can keep a barber busy all day long and make them really good money. So when you're being this targeted, and let's say you're only targeting like 15,000 people here, well, shit, you only need 100 to make your business pop. So is it enough? In this case, it would be, right? Does that make sense to everybody? See kind of my thought process there? And that's when you deal with local businesses, right? Like they either can or they can't handle it, you know? All right, continuing on. Next is you got to make an offer that people give a shit about, right? So think about it. Now answer this question, and everyone chime in on this. I'll just say 5 again. Within 5 miles of your house, how many barber/haircut places/salons are there? Like legitly. How many if you guys had the ballpark within your area, how many are there? Someone said 20. Somebody said too many. Somebody said 15. Somebody said 10. Let's say that's a lot of freaking people, right? That means your customer, when they need a haircut, they have 10 different, someone says 100. Yeah, they got like a gazillion different choices that they can make. So when you're talking to your customers, okay, or when you're talking to yourself, if you're, a business owner yourself there, a local business owner, then this is what you guys got to realize. Or actually, let me take a step back. How many of you guys have had customers or within your own business, you're afraid to give some kind of discount or incentive to come in? Type yes if you can relate to that. And whether it's you or your business that you work with, how many are afraid to give a good discount or some kind of incentive for people to come in the door? Right? Someone said customers are afraid. Yes. I have a customer doing that now. So this is what you guys give them. You give them that classic slice of humble pie and a big bite of fucking reality, and you tell them what we just talked about. Dude, there's 10, 20, 30 other barbers around. What in the world makes you think People who don't know, never been in your store, so they don't know what it feels like. They've never experienced your customer service. They don't know how good you are because you've never cut their hair before. What in the world would make them go out of their way and walk by the other 6 barbershops to come into yours? Why would they ever do that if you don't give them a reason to? Everybody with me there? Everybody with me there and dealing with the customer. It's having a real conversation with them. It's breaking them down to reality because they'll tell you things like, well, our barbershop's different. When we come in, we give them a massage and we, da-da-da. We're different because, we've had training of 60 hours. Guess what, people? Your customers don't know that. And when they don't know that, they don't give a shit. Right? They don't give a shit. So if you have someone who refuses to play the game the way it needs to be played today to survive, well, guess what? Fire that client and move on. Or fire yourself if it's you getting in the way of your own business. Because business starts once you acquire the customer. Until then, you ain't got a business. Cool? Now let's get into it. The offer that we made here was 50% off your first haircut. And again, we kept this super simple. Now, once we have all that data, let's actually build this out in Facebook. So whenever you're building out a Facebook campaign, in the business manager, the power editor in this case, and really quickly, whenever we build a campaign, it's always in the power editor. If you're not building campaigns within the power editor, then you're messing up. It's free from Facebook. You just have to use Google Chrome, and it's way more advanced than the ads manager that they give most people access to. So if you're not up to speed on that, well, you should just take our course, Clicks into Customers or join camp, because there's a lot to learn in there. But Jordan's going to walk you through right now as we switch screens to her of exactly how to do this. Or even better question, do you guys even want to see that? Should we switch screens right now so you can actually see her screen and see her walk through this? Or should we skip that part? Okay, a lot of people said skip. I'm just fucking around. Nobody said that. Okay, I'm gonna switch with you right now, Jordan. Hold on here. Where are we? Jordan Peterson. Okay. Now Jordan's live. Hold on. I need to switch my things here so I can still see everyone. Okay. Let me know, everyone. Can you guys see her screen? All right. Let me know if you guys can see Jordan's screen. I think I have a little delay here. Hold on here.
Yeah, I was having a delay with you.
You were having one? Okay. Okay, there we go. Damn straight. All right, we got it. We can see it good. We're all right. Okay, so let me make sure my screen's good. All right, so Jordan right now, she's sitting behind me, but we're going to do this together here, is she's creating an ad within the Ads Manager. And you guys, even though we're doing this for this fake barbershop that we made up, this process that I'm showing you is the same regardless of what business you're in. And I'm going to simplify it for you so that while your time you're leaving here, you can actually go out and just create your first ad. So once you open up the Power Editor, this is what you'll see. Now there's 3 structures or 3 layers or levels to building a campaign. Number 1 is the campaign itself. So there's the campaign, there's the ad set, and then there's the ads. And it's nothing more than a system of organization. So to start anything within Facebook, it has to be built within a campaign. So that's what Jordan's at now. As you can see, she's highlighting as I'm speaking. She's inside of the campaign structure. So now she's going to create a new one. Now she's already created this, but we're going to start a new one so we can walk y'all through it, okay? And please ask questions if you have them. So she's just going to simply click Create Campaign. And then once that shows up, it's going to say use an existing campaign or create a new one. For this case, we're obviously going to create a new one. Now, when you're creating your campaign, and make sure you guys are taking notes here, this is actually important, always name the campaign by the offer, okay? Always name the campaign by the offer. Let me show you what I mean. 50% off a haircut could be one campaign, and the next campaign could be free haircut, and the next campaign could be buy 2 get 1 free, or buy 3 get 1 free. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? And the reason why we do it like that is because offer is going to have the biggest effect on your campaign in regards to the results, what you're offering. So that's why we structure it like that. So is everybody with us so far? All we did was create a new campaign and we labeled it by the offer. And the reason why you know which clients it's for is because of the simple fact that we're doing it within their ad account. So we know that every campaign within this account is for this client because they have their own ad account. All right, next thing you do is you select the buying type. Now there's only two types of buying types. It's auction and then there's reach and frequency. Choose auction, period. Auction is what allows you to bid and you to be a little bit more control. The reach and frequency is probably more along the lines for people who care about branding, which are usually Fortune 500 companies with big ass budgets. All right. Next is the objective. Clicks to website. Okay. Is what we're going to choose. However, there's a lot of options here. Majority of the time, people, whenever you're building a campaign and you're looking for a very direct, end result, such as the phone ringing, people coming into your store, downloading something, scheduling an appointment, you're almost always going to choose clicks to website. Okay? So I'm giving you guys what you need to know. I'm not going to break down every single one of those because it doesn't really apply to you. Just change it to clicks to website. Very basic. Next. All right? So now we've created a campaign and then boom, it's there. So that's all we do to create a new campaign. Okay? So let me recap that for you. In the campaign, all we did was label it based off of the offer that we were using. That's it. It's just organization, all right? So now, within every campaign, there's an ad set, okay? There's an ad set. And you see how she's just going right below it on the left-hand side there. She's clicking ad set. And then the ad set is where you're allowed to choose who's going to see the advertisements, okay? So she's going to go ahead and click Create New Ad Set. She's going to go to Create New instead of Use Existing. Or no, excuse me, she's choosing her campaign. That was my bad. So she's choosing the campaign, which she already created, which is 50% off haircut 2. We just made that. And then she's choosing a new ad set now. And so the ad set will actually label this to the interest that we're targeting. And so for this, we know that we're going to target people that all go to or listen to Drake. Okay? You guys all know Drake. He's a rapper, right? So the ad set, you always want to label it the interest, meaning who's seeing the advertisement. Because people who listen to Drake are going to respond differently than people who listen to EDM, than people who go to a certain bar, than people who watch a certain TV show. So whoever you're targeting, whoever you want to see the ads, is what you should label the ad set. So that way when you're going through your ads, you can say, all right, for this client, Billie Jean's Barbershop, I have a campaign running for 50% off a haircut, and I'm showing it to people who listen to Drake. Okay? Does everybody follow me right there? Okay? Eric says, man, I'm old. No idea who EDM is. EDM is like a category of music. What is it? Electronic dance music? Jordan probably knows, right? Yeah. So it's all the techno shit that you hear on the radio. Right? And then, does anybody know why she put D in parentheses next to the category? Does anybody know why she put D? Anyone? Yeah, a couple people got it. It's for desktop. It's for desktop. She put D because we're advertising specifically to people on desktop computers because the cost to advertise to someone on a desktop versus someone on a cell phone is different. So what she'll do is she'll eventually end up duplicating this ad set, and instead of D, she'll put M, and she'll only show people on cell phones. And that's because when we're running the campaign, we want to know what's more effective to get people into the barbershop. Is it the desktop ads or is it the mobile? All right. So now let's create that. So now that we have an ad set and we have a title, now she's going to choose how much we want to spend. All right. So we'll say, okay, let's start with $20 a day. That's fine. Right. Now for the scheduling, you can choose start and stop times for a campaign. However, I don't recommend it. I believe you should manually do this. Okay. Because here's the reality is the cost per lead during morning times is different than the cost per lead during nights, and it's all going to have a different volume. When you're first running a campaign, you don't know when, the action's really going to happen. Maybe your audience, like these people we're going after, they stay up hella late at night. So at 2 in the morning, we get a ton of leads. However, if we were going to business professionals who wake up at 5, they're probably in bed by 8 o'clock. So you want to keep it on and really get some data on when you're getting that activity. And then after you learn, maybe you can switch to a certain schedule. Okay? Or if we know no one's there to answer the phones and follow up, then we may also schedule it. All right? So is everybody with me so far? I know this is kind of like the technical stuff, but I want to make sure everyone's learning and actually fucking engaged. I don't want to bore you guys to death. I hate that idea. Okay, cool. Good. All right, next is someone says, yes, fucking engaged. Okay, next is the location. All right, now we're going to target, by us in San Diego, and all we're going to do is just simply type in the address. Nothing crazy here, right? We're just literally going to type in an address. And so Jordan's just typing that in, and there she goes. 600 Pacific Highway, that's like right close to us. Just types it in. Okay. Tom says, what's a good budget to start? Again, Tom, that's one of those questions completely dependent on your objective, right? If I spent $20 on an advertisement and we got, 5 leads, we go out of business. We need to be pumping out like 500 leads a day, right? So it completely depends on the objective. So that's a conversation that you have with you as the business owner or with the client, depending on what it's for. What are your goals? So you choose the address, but also what we do a lot is we target by zip code, people. And all you got to do is just type in the zip code. 92101, there it is. Okay? And you can advertise, and it even shows you on the map where you're advertising to. I mean, Facebook can't make it much easier than that, right? Next is someone says, how do you manage your ad if you want folks to call in? The same way, targeting-wise. That doesn't really change. However, the time of when we run the ad, like manually turn it off and on, may change if people aren't around to answer their phones. Next is we'll choose the age. And we establish here that we're doing like 21 to 35 or whatever. And again, guys, as you're watching this, like Jordan's not doing anything tricky right now. She's just going through the process. Okay. Eric says, why address and zip code? Well, sometimes when you do the zip code, it gives you a bigger reach, and sometimes when you do the address, it gives you a bigger reach. So you just kind of got to experiment. Usually we'll choose one, then the other. Next. Sorry, I got allergies really bad, guys. I'm super stuffed up. Next is, languages. We'll keep it English speaking for now and let it be default. Or gender, men. Okay, cool. And you can see on the right-hand side there, we're still targeting 150,000 people. And now we come into detailed targeting. Go ahead and click there. And literally for this, just type in Drake, right? So let's just go ahead and type in. That says employer. Where's the musician? There it is, Drake, rapper, parentheses. There it is. Click him. All right, so now we got 30,000 people. So now guess what we just did? We found men 21 to 35 that have an interest in Drake the rapper, right? That's pretty specific. We know where they live, so they're close by. We know they're guys. We know they're within the age. And if they're living in this area, they're probably already a part of, something that's going to attract them to the barbershop. And then we have an interest there. Is this anything complicated so far, people? Right? And obviously it's going to take you practice to just come in here and do it. But again, this is all Facebook needs to be, right? And again, then Eric says, not yet. Yes, there are complicated things to do for sure. But most of the time you don't need them to be successful with Facebook. And Mike says, does interest in Drake mean they've liked Drake's fan page? Yes, it does. Okay. All right. Now continuing on. Then you can do connection types. If you want to select there, you can say, hey, are they connected people who like our fan page, right? Or maybe we don't want to show people who like our fan page because we've already, advertised to them a lot. So you can choose if you want to include these people or exclude these people. Maybe you want to do opposite targeting, So if people like country music, maybe you want to put some of the biggest artists and exclude them and say, if anyone who likes country is definitely not going to like the feel of my barbershop, right? So you can actually exclude people, as you guys can see Twinkie's doing right there. And you can actually type in demographics to exclude. Pretty cool, right? Like just simple functions that really make sense. All right, now coming down. The placement. Don't choose automatic because Facebook will just show your ads where they want. But choose one placement at a time, right? And remember, we selected desktop in the beginning. So that's all we want to choose here. Now, let me make some comments on the other ones. The majority of the time, we use mobile newsfeed. That's where most of your traffic is going to come from. And that's referring to, like, if you guys all pick up your cell phones right now and log into Facebook, that's your mobile news feed right there. Don't do that right now, unless you're going to follow me on Snapchat. Ask Billie Jean. And then what you do from here is we'll duplicate this advertisement, and then we'll make one for mobile newsfeed, one for desktop, and one for Instagram. You guys see what I'm saying? All right, now continuing on. Optimization and pricing. Now this can be a little confusing. Let me simplify it for you. Choose link clicks to your website. Period. Impressions are cool, but they're not usually for people who are using direct response advertising as a way to get customers inside of their business. So just keep it simple and use links clicks to website. And then it allows you to choose how you're going to bid, right? How to use the bid. And you can choose automatic, which has gotten better. We used to forbid it because it sucked. But now Facebook's done a better job. But still, simply, when we start a campaign, we choose manual. And I want to point something out here. Do you guys see that range? How insanely expensive that is? How many of you would spend $16 for a click? Type no or yes in the chat. How many of you would check? No one would, right? It depends. That's the right answer. Depends on how much money you were making, okay? But here's the thing. Just because the suggested bid is that doesn't mean you're actually going to pay it, okay? What Facebook needs in order to dictate if your bid or your advertisement is going to be legit is they need data on the ad. And what they're looking for is to see if people are actually engaging with it. So let me tell you guys something. Facebook makes money from people being on Facebook and clicking their ads. If no one's on Facebook, then there's no one to click. So if there's shitty content on the freaking, if there's shitty content on their thing, then they're not going to show your stuff. So Facebook has something called click-through rate, and they also have something called relevance score, which makes it really, really easy. Yeah, Ty just mentioned it. Relevance score is a number on a scale of 1 to 10 that tells you how relevant your ad is, right? Meaning, do people actually care about it? The lower that score is, the more expensive it's going to be. The higher it is, the cheaper it's going to be to advertise. So right now, Facebook's giving me a default suggested bid because it doesn't have a relevance score. It's telling me, Billy, you have a new ad account, and you're creating a new ad, and we have no idea what you're doing and no data to base it on, so we're going to charge you a bunch of money to waste time while you try and figure out Facebook advertising, because that's somebody else who could be there that's actually going to make us money, right? Julia says, please show us where to find the relevance score. We'll show you that after, Julia, just so we can stay in flow, but it shows up pretty easy. Let's see. Joe says, how do you ensure a higher relevance score? Okay, I'll show you. So right now in this group, we have, a bunch of entrepreneurs, right? Entrepreneurs and marketers, okay? So right now, if I ran an advertisement to you 57 people that are typing in the chat right now, right? If I made an advertisement to you chatters specifically, you people who actually wrote in and talked today, if I made an advertisement to you guys and I said, hey, you can have a one-on-one with Mark Cuban. He's going to fly you to his house to freaking have lunch for 2 hours, and Warren Buffett's going to be there too, and Bill Gates is going to stop by. How many of you would click that ad? Just type yes. Yeah. Someone says Visa or MasterCard. Right. Everyone says yes. No one's going to say no to that. Because why? This is a group of entrepreneurs and marketers who obviously all know who freaking Mark Cuban is, the man, myth, the legend. And also you understand how valuable his time is. And the guy's a billionaire, and what you're able to learn. Okay. Now let me show you, Joe, on the flip side of that. If I show that same advertisement to a group of 13 to 16-year-old girls, right, who love Justin Bieber, how many of them are going to click the ad? Anybody? Any guesses? You know what I mean? None. So that is what relevance score is. You guys care. They don't. And that's the entire game of Facebook, is making the right offer to the right person. Mark Cuban is cool for this group. Mark Cuban is nothing to other groups. That's what Facebook advertising is. Okay? So continuing on, Once you choose that bid, again, it adjusts. That adjusts as soon as the campaign's on, and Facebook can say, hey, this is relevant or not relevant. Okay, and then scroll down to advanced delivery. And you have a type here where Facebook will just show your ads throughout the day, or you can go to accelerated. So if you want to show up your ad like within a specific time really quickly, you can do that and go ahead and click it. But a lot of time it costs more money to do that. You know, since accelerated delivery shows your ads as often as possible, your average cost may increase and ads may stop delivering before your scheduled end time, but you won't spend more than your budget. So in other words, well, damn, if you want to flood this market, you're going to pay for it, right? Matt says, do you suggest bidding over the suggested? I suggest that initially to get your advertisement out there faster. And then I recommend changing it back. Changing it back. All right. So that's ad set. Now that got a little trickier. And again, as you guys do this, it's like anything else. You got to practice it, get in here, and then it becomes like home, right? So that's the ad set. So let me recap. The campaign, all we did was name it the offer, so it's nice and organized. Then within that campaign, we built an ad set, and we focused on Drake as the audience on desktop, okay? And then the last step in this is to create the actual advertisement, No, Eric, I did not say accelerated initially, then adjust. Don't go accelerated. So accelerated is very rare. Most people won't use it. Don't use accelerated a lot of the time. Very rare. Okay, so then we create the ad. And if you look here on the destination side, and let's scroll down a little bit, first thing you do is you choose the fan page that it's coming from, so that's fine. And then from there, you can also choose if you want to advertise that on Instagram, but never advertise to Facebook and Instagram within the same ad. Always separate them, because then you won't know which is performing better. And if you do, there'll be no way to turn one off and not the other. So always keep them separate. Okay. And the next is we choose the type of ad. Is it going to be an image or is it going to be a video? Now, you guys have seen our ads. We video to death, and we're killing it as a result of that. Okay. So note to the world, use video if you can. And if you're not good at it, then you should go back to skill number 2, which is video, learn it and start mastering it. Because if you want to make a ton of money and be relevant coming forward, you got to know how to do it. All right. They also give the option to do, carousel ads with multiple images. But for this one, we kept it simple. We chose what made sense, and, she grabbed a picture. All right. Scroll down a little bit. Next is we're just literally typing in what you see on the ad. And it says, attention San Diego, in need of a fresh haircut. I think Jordan did this like right before we did this.
I did.
Attention San Diego, in need of a fresh haircut. We're giving away 50 off codes to get a custom haircut for 50% off. Click through to claim yours now. So it's not crazy, but something that we could have done here to really spice it up is we could have showed a picture of Drake in the barber chair. Why? Because we know they all listen to Drake, right? And they're all kind of vibe with him. So if we had Drake in the barber chair, then it would be awesome. Now, to get Drake to freaking come out, that's a different story, but I hope you guys are getting my point. And even for the image, like show them how quick the image is. And again, it's not like super sexy, but like just literally bring it into Paint or Pixlr and just typing in the text on top of a freaking image that she found online. Like, I can't stress enough, like everyone gets so caught up in making their ads and their images so great and make it look, I mean, dude, you just don't really need to. It's about making the right offer to the right person. I can't say it enough times, right? These things help, but they not make or break. You should never not run a campaign because you feel like your image isn't perfect. It's a waste of time and money, right? And the next is the headline, want a haircut for 50% off? It says, hey, have a beer, watch TV, and enjoy your haircut located right smack dab in the middle of the waterfront park. So that's it. That's the ad, period. And then you can add a call to action button, download there. And then you can even add pixels for tracking, which is a little bit of a different story. And we'll get into that later, just because there's no reason to go into it now. It's just confusing. But that basically allows us to see which ads are working and which ads people are coming in from and how much it costs us to actually get somebody to come in for a haircut. That's what that allows you to do, So, yeah, that is creating campaign. Now, let me ask you guys this. Was it helpful to kind of do this and walk through the building of a campaign? I know this is a little different than how we do it usually, but just kind of, hey, let's just build a campaign together, right? And just show the steps. Okay, cool. Good. I just want to make sure, right? So there you go. I mean, that's it. And Kenneth says, I don't normally use the Power Editor, but I wonder why it's better than Ads Manager, because it gives you a lot more options that you can't do in Ads Manager, Kenneth. That's the short summary. Okay, so let me go back to my screen. I see some more questions coming in. Hold on. Un momento. And hold up. Wait for it. All right. All right, back to me. Can you guys see me, Jordan?
Yes.
All right, cool. And waiting here. All right, hold on. Moving your guys' questions back so I can see it. And can you guys see my screen now? All right. Let's see. Someone taught me to use CPM before a new Facebook ad and only switch to CPC once it's converting. Is there a reason not to do this? Yeah, because being able to collect data on it is going to be a little bit more difficult because the algorithm is so different from CPM to CPC, Mike. So I wouldn't advise that. But some other people, they have success with it. This is not the only way to skin a cat. That's just what we recommend. Tom asked a question. He says, how much exposure does an ad typically generate? It depends on how much you spend. How does it gauge how many times you'll show up in the targeted demos newsfeed? There's a stat called frequency, and it'll tell you exactly how many times each person sees your ad in numeric form. So it'll say like 4.0 or 4.2. So on average, each person sees your ad 4.2 times. Glenn, can you go over the budget section again? What do you mean in regards to that, Glenn? Because we didn't really do much on it. We just literally typed in the budget for $20. Let's see here. All right, going forward, let me see what else I had. Level 2, level 3. Oh, yeah. So do you guys want to see really fast? Do you guys want to see what happens after they click? Like what our process is there? Does anybody want to see that? And again, we'll customize this to you guys. Okay, I said, yes, please, let's do it. Let's do it. Fuck yeah, sure. Yes. Why? Yes. Okay, for sure. Yeah, we'll do that next week. So we'll take the that was evil. Next week we'll go into that, but I just wanted today for a sense of focus to literally just go through the building, right? Like I don't want to couple that and get confused with that. It's a world of its own, right? But just I thought it was really helpful to just build out a campaign, which we don't actually do that often. So yeah, so I'll do some questions now though. This is what I will do. And then also too, even like, in our camp calls, we don't really go too technical like this. Obviously we have the access to trainings, but I think it's good to do these every blue moon. Beardenaire says, would love to see an ad set for online clothing boutique stores. Very first thing I'll say is you'll never see one because it's too broad. A clothing/boutique store, I mean, geez, the world of fashion, there's so much, what a gothic kid is so different than what a hipster would wear. It's so different than what a little, hip hop head would wear. Like, and if there's boutiques for all of those. So my first thing is you're just thinking grossly too broad. Yeah, now even there, you said, okay, clothes for bearded men. My point exactly. That's a whole different ball game. Like, let me actually ask everyone, do you guys all see the difference between advertising randomly and advertising to bearded men? Does immediately your brain start to create different types of ads you wouldn't have thought out before? So that's what I'm talking about. If you guys take anything from this and really go back to the call before this one, but again, really asking questions about who do I need to show this advertisement to? Like the bearded man is a lifestyle player. I would definitely target, the Dollar Shave Club and some other fun ones, but you got to figure out your voice. John says, how effective can FB ads be for MLM business? I mean, the reality is they can be very effective if you're extremely skilled and know what you're doing, but you're also going to have a target on your back the whole time because Facebook hates MLMs. Sean says, so without a pixel, you have no data or tracking info on what's working. That's correct. I mean, you can have limited stuff, but you're not tracking how you need to be tracking. When I'm creating content, what kind of attention do I need to pay to clip art? Don't want to get sued. You can just literally search on Google and look for license-free images. And they'll tell you, like if you go to any of the pages like Fotalia or the photo buying services, they like for images.com, they tell you like, hey, you can use this or you can't, or here's the license stipulations with it. Does the ad we create show up in the client's Facebook page? Not if you do it in the Power Editor. And guys, really fast, if you guys have a lot of questions about Facebook, I do highly recommend some kind of training course on it. Even with this, like in the gene pool as I'm going through it, it is a real skill that takes a while to develop. So never let anybody tell you, yeah, you're just going to understand Facebook ads in 2 days. Like, it's just bullshit. It takes practice. So I do recommend you take some kind of training for it. Obviously, I know this guy, Billy Jean. He's got a really good one. If you go to Qzx900customers.com, boss. But if you don't use ours, use someone else's. But there's a lot to learn. I would just rather use those guys because I heard they're really good. And they actually have like a lot of case studies and stuff. It's weird. I heard their community was really cool. There's this chick, Julia. She's awesome. I don't know. Dan now says small business loans, especially. I've done those industries. It's not that easy. Let's see. George says, do you ever use existing posts as an ad? Do you ever use existing posts as an ad versus creating a Power Editor? Sometimes if I want it to be on the page, like fully engaged, so when people come to the page, they see that, George. So sometimes, yeah, man. Adrian, I remember in the past that you helped a business owner sell some wetsuits. I think you can show some examples of how you put ads together for physical products. Carousel says ads, etc. Sure. I don't know when I would show that. I will try and think of some way to get it in. But again, it's all the same process, right? Like, one thing with physical products is you got to ask yourself, does it need a lot of explaining? And if it does, it's going to be expensive to sell. Like, people need to be able to look at it and tell what it does, and then you got to make them an offer to take action. That's like the best advice I can give in short on just this little conversation. Can you show where you request increasing your limit? People keep saying there's a chat or support link, but I can't seem to find it. Matt, if you email askbillyjean@gmail, we have I think templates for that because we've been asked it so many times. So someone can reply that to you, man. It's just askbillyjean@gmail. That way we can get you what you need. All right. Yeah. So Julia, yeah, she says you can actually post it on your page and then use it as an ad as well. Yep, we can definitely do that. Cool. Good stuff. There was a lot of good questions, and I think this was really helpful to go through. And I know it's not as exciting as some of the other things that we go through, but it's just as important, if not more. So I hope everyone realizes that. But hopefully it still wasn't boring. There's nothing worse than going to a freaking boring webinar. My God. How many of you have been to just some boring shit where you're just, God, this is torture. Man, I hate that. Yeah, it's bad. This is super helpful. I'm shooting to have my first FB ad live by this time this week. Love it, man. Cool. Yeah, we all have been in the boring webs. Okay, cool. For those of you coming on the camp call, I'll see you in a few minutes. I got literally 2 meetings in between. But thank you all for being here. For those of you who are new to the Gene Pool, welcome. This is what it's kind of like. I mean, every week we're literally learning something new. It's never repeated, and you can talk to the other members in here. We get down to some cool shit, and we try and show a lot of examples, etc., and actually give you tangible skills that'll make you money. And that's the plan with the Gene Pool. Is learn enough of this stuff, and your income will only go up. So later, everyone. Qzx900customers.com, passcode BOSS. If you're not already working with us or getting training from us or group, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Jordan, what are they doing?
What are you guys doing?
What are you
guys doing?
What's happening? John says, my wife and I have a social media marketing business. We're about to start using processes. Can you speak a few words about finding a niche? John, I would take a step back, John, and say, hey, what skills do we really possess? So let me get you right here. So when I hear that term, social media marketing business, the first question that I ask myself is, what do you do? And if your answer sounds like this, well, we do Facebook, we do Instagram, we can do some Twitter, you will never be able to charge higher prices. And your process is going to be non-existent because you have so many services. So I'll give you a great company that probably sells shit, but they're a great company nonetheless. McDonald's. You go there, it's the same thing every time. They have a few things that you can order, and that's what it is. For some reason, when we get into this digital space, we think we can offer 40 different services and have a scalable business. It's never going to happen. So the more variables that you have in your business, John, the more processes that you're going to need. And if you have a two-man team with you and your wife, or two, man-woman team, then it's going to be really, really challenging to create any kind of process. So you need to identify what problem you solve in the marketplace, and social media marketing is not solving a problem, right? So when someone comes to us, like we don't talk about we're marketers. We say we're customer acquisition masters, because to me, business begins once you acquire a customer. Until then, you don't have a business. And that's what everyone really struggles with. They think they need marketing, but they need customers. That's what we do. And that is the easiest thing ever to sell right now, and it's in high demand. And something tells me it's not going to go away. Qzx900customers.com, passcode BOSS, because that was a hot answer. Yeah, George, but you got to ask that in like an hour on the call, or email, just because this is not the platform that I just been given. But yeah, I got you, man. Cool. Rock and roll. Anybody else before we take it off? All right. Cool stuff. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope it was helpful for those of you who are new. For those of you who are a veteran, I don't care what you think. I'm just kidding. I hope you guys liked it too. Jordan, any final words?
Oh, shit. Did I press something wrong? Oh, wait. I just minimized it. Sorry. Sorry, I thought I pressed the wrong button. Thanks for guys.
Talk to you later. Check you later.
Oh, my gosh.